Welcome back. You're watching One on One. We're talking with award-winning comedian Russell Peters. Russell, well, not just award-winning. You were the first South Asian to sell out the Apollo Theatre in New York City.
In Harlem.
Was that one of the?
That was one of my highlights. April 2005.
Yeah. What other ones can you remember? What really were the highlights?
The Apollo, the Air Canada Centre in Toronto for 2 nights. That was 30,000 people over 2 nights. Because that's my hometown. I remember I got teary-eyed before I went on stage both nights. We played a video before the show started in Toronto. I had no opening act, and it was 15,000 people per night. And we played this video that my friend Jigar Talati, he's a director friend of mine. He put this video together for me. He had been following me around for a couple of years, documenting everything. He put this little video together that we played before the show, and he had cut pieces of an interview he did with my dad in like the early mid-90s. And he cut pieces of my dad, so I'm backstage and I hear my dad's voice, and I start getting teary-eyed. And then I hear the 15,000 people screaming, and I'm like, oh boy, I hope I don't cry when I get out there. And I got on stage, and I had tears in my eyes, but I was trying to do a comedy show. And Lennox Lewis introduced me the first night. And then the second night, I was trying to figure out who could introduce me. I'm like, who was special enough to do this? And then I asked my mom to introduce me the second night. So my mom came out in front of 15,000 people, and I thought my mom wouldn't be able to handle it, but it turns out my mom walks out, and they go, please welcome Russell's mom. And 15,000 people start screaming and clapping. My mom walks out before she even says anything, just starts waving in front of everybody. I'm like, is that my mom?
Did you say
standing it up for the crowd?
Say, he will swear, but you can forgive him. He's
Her voice cracked off. Give it up for my son.
Now, tell me, can you remember that first time that you really, the first big gig where you walked on stage, you're thinking, this is it?
I've thought this is it a couple of times, and then nothing ever happened afterwards, so I've stopped thinking this is it.
In terms of where you really felt nervous going out on stage, one of the first times perhaps.
I don't know, whenever I do TV, I get a little nervous. Not crazy nervous, but if it's live TV especially, I get kind of, because if something goes wrong, like if somebody doesn't react the way I need them to, everything a comedian does is based on how you react, so.
What do you do when no one laughs? Have you had that kind of gig where you
yeah, you still have them. That's the thing. It's the beautiful thing about being a comedian. Your success is never above bombing. You're never above bombing, no matter who you are.
What goes through your head when that happens?
Who the hell do these people think they are? Your ego goes through your head at that point. Do you know what I've done? You know what I mean? It's humbling.
The thing that I grew up in an area where I used to hear so many different accents living in London growing up, and it seems that in the mixed culture of Canada, you've got the same thing. Certainly, you get a Toronto and Brampton area. I noticed you're really good with accents. Really good with accents. Is it something you just, you have to work hard at, or does it just come?
It's one of those things where if I think I can do it, I'll try it. I can't do a Scottish accent to save my life. And I'm sure you can, growing up in England.
But you differentiate between Mandarin and Cantonese Chinese, for example.
Yeah, I do the weird ones, I do the odd little differences. I can do the different Caribbean accents, from Trinidadian to Jamaican to Bayesian to Guyanese, but I can't do Scottish. And it's Scottish is the one that's got me, but I can't do it. And white people can do it at the drop of a dime.
Could be a colour thing, yeah.
I think it really is.
Although when you hear actually an Indian speaking with a heavy Scottish accent who were born there, it's quite a shock.
That tripped me out as well. Or being in Birmingham and seeing a Chinese girl at this restaurant with a heavy Brahmi accent. That messed me up too.
Chinese people and Indian people cannot do business together. Because Indians cannot live without a bargain, and Chinese people cannot give you a bargain.
In terms of observing life, I notice you talk a lot about day-to-day observations, often things that you've come across in other cultures and around the world. What is it you keep your eyes open for?
Just something that seems a little odd to me. I base everything from my perspective, which is, I say my perspective, but it's really from a North American perspective, and or anybody from the Western world, if you will. And whatever seems odd to me, and the reason I investigate it more is because, okay, it's odd to me, but it's normal to them. Well, why is it? So maybe what I do is odd to them. So I like to find out both sides. I'm a Libra, maybe that's what it is, I like to know both sides of everything in order to make fun of it. I can't just make fun of something from one side and not understand their perspective, so I make sure I know both their reason and why I'm laughing and why they would laugh at me for certain things.
Now, what about testing the material? Is there someone on whom you test that material?
No. I basically get on stage and try it out. If I think it's going to work, I'll sell it like I think it's going to work. And if I'm unsure of it, I'll just get on at a comedy club, like on a Monday or Tuesday night, and I'm not working, and just pound it out.
So you try it out in a sort of non-official.
Yeah. That's basically how comics do it. We work Thursday to Sundays, and then Monday to Thursdays we're in comedy clubs or whatever we're doing, sharpening up the new stuff that we're trying to work on.
Who makes you laugh?
There's a lot of guys out there that are really funny now. There's actually too many to name, in fact. But the comedy game has really stepped up. Guys have really been writing and coming up with some really clever and really funny stuff that makes you go, damn it, I wish I thought of that.
What goals have you set yourself in life? Do you have a particular burning ambition to achieve something in particular?
It's sounds really shallow, but I set my goals monetarily. I know, but that works for me, you know? I set it by what do I want? Physical, give me something tangible that I want. And now I'm at a place where there's not a lot I can't get financially, you know, so I've set it now to an airplane. I want to buy an airplane. So I think until I hit that goal, and then I'll set it to something else. But otherwise, I appreciate being the first guy in this business to become successful with it and to be known as